Hi and welcome. This is another episode of Epic Sketch Time. My name is Mark Monlux and I'll be your host this week. I live in Tacoma, Washington, and I've been working as a freelance illustrator since 1985. You can find me in the links below the doobly-doo once I post this video. Follow me on Patreon, on Twitter, or wherever. And first up is Bill Morse. Bill.
Hi, I'm Bill Morse. I'm a freelance illustrator in Seattle, Washington. I also do a web comic called Rhapsodies, and I've been a semi-professional illustrator since about 95 or so.
Katie, your turn.
Hi, I'm Katie Cord. I'm from Bonnie Lake, Washington, and I am just learning how to art. So glad to be here.
And if you feel free, post something either in the chat or you can just, oh, there you are. Awesome.
Hi, I'm Ann Chisholm. I am an elementary art teacher and I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Very cool.
Oh, wow. So it's 6:30 there right now?
Yep, 6:30, and this is my second to last day of distance learning. We'll be going back into the schools in 2 days, so just trying to take advantage of any free time that I have to do any kind of art of my own.
Good luck with that.
Yes, thank you.
So what we do here is at Epic is there's no agenda. You just work on your individual projects. If you want to, you can hold them up to the screen, or if you can screen share them. I've got a little show and tell that I'd like to do on a screen share as soon as I open up my Flickr account. I'm really pleased that I did an art wrap piece for the city of Tacoma for a recycling container. And it's been put on a hold for the longest time because of the pandemic. We literally had a photo shoot scheduled with me and all the other artists. And okay, I got it up. Let me go over to screen share. Okay, so here's a picture of me in front of my canister. Oh, this is a Stan Shaw's canister. There were 5 of us artists. Each one of us did a different canister. I'm looking for a shot of me where you can actually see the full canister. The purple ones are the glass recycling canister. This is a cardboard one. There we go. That's what mine looks like. And I'm really very pleased at how well it came out. These are some other artists. This is on location in one of our public parks. Mine have yet to go out. There's one here that's really great. As you can see, there's a bend in the canister where the metal goes sideways. And this person did a garden with the dirt level being right where the bend is for the most part, and that really helped create a nice 3D effect. I think it's one of the few I don't think I took a picture of her canister. I feel kind of bad about that, but I was more interested in getting pictures of my canister, and this is a scrap metal one. So that is my show and tell for today.
That's awesome. How was it the Tacoma City that hired people to paint those? Because boy, they sure look a lot better than what they normally look like.
Well, they're not actually painted. What we do is we create the artwork digitally, and it's put on a piece of plastic, and it's plastic wrapped around the thing.
Wow.
But yes, the city of
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You,
Well, I just wondered how long does that last, you think? How long will the plastic last? Is it
quite a long time. It's actually fairly difficult to remove it. You might have seen the same type of material applied to the outside of public transit buses with advertising, or on
Oh,
cars and things.
okay.
This isn't the first one I designed, but it's the first one I've designed for the city. The first one I designed was back in the late 90s, and it was a wraparound of a tour bus for a museum that showed various airplanes and things. I don't even have the artwork for that anymore. I wish I did. But you might also, some cities are encouraging artists to create art that would wrap around utility boxes at the corner where the sidewalk controls are.
Yes, we have that here. I haven't seen any recycle bins wrapped though. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the recycle bin's a new concept. What the city of Tacoma did is they have an art commission. Sometimes you can do work for them through the art commission, but in this case, the city created a directory of artists so that the various organizations in the city, like the utility company, because they're all in different buildings, they're all not tied together. They created a directory of artists for them to call upon whenever they had a project that they needed. And for this one, they wanted to have an artist from each section of the city do a canister that would be in that section of the city. Well, that was the original game plan, but what happened was COVID hit. We couldn't do the big public reveal. The whole purpose of doing this was so that glass pickup wouldn't be done at house on curbside anymore. But with the shelter-in-place order going into effect, having curbside glass pickup was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're opening things up a little bit. But things have changed. People who have agreed to have the containers at various locations, property management has changed. Businesses have been sold. New things have gone up. So where the cans were originally planned to be located, it's still moving about right now. So I hear that 2 different neighborhoods have seen my container though, and they really want it because they like the people on the site.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That's really nice.
Tacoma also has something called the Tacoma Art Listserv, and it is every art organization in the area knows about this listserv, and they post out job announcement and meeting announcements, and that's the only thing that's allowed on the listserv. And everybody subscribes to it, and it just keeps everyone informed of everything.
Okay.
So,
Wow, interesting.
yeah. So my thing is, if you can find your art community for your city and really tap into it, you'll be able to find out that there are other, what other art sources are available for you to do public work. I have at least a dozen friends of mine. We all love doing public projects for the city and various things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that Tacoma did was when it became really obvious that people were putting up boards on the windows of businesses when the pandemic hit, rather than having everything look like it was boarded up, artists started stepping forward and approaching the businesses, say, hey, how would you like me to do a mural on those boards? And so the city stepped in and said, hey, why don't you guys get onto our mural directory, and people can just come to us directly, and we'll just, parcel you guys out to wherever. And that has proved to be extremely popular, and there are murals all around Tacoma now, and it gave a more vitalized feel to things rather than, plywood.
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. That happened organically after the riots here in June. So many things got boarded up, and then people just came out and started painting.
Oh, that's
Cool.
great. Isn't that great?
Yeah, 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 yeah. A lot of them are saved. Yeah, they're trying to figure out what to do with some of them for the buildings that have reopened and no longer have the boards. Some businesses had space to save them and have them on the sides of their building and so on. So, yeah. So when you submit your artwork, then Mark, it always has to be a digital image?
Some of the artwork that's done for the city is not digital. Some of it's actually like the billboards. Those weren't wraps. Those were people just going out with paintbrushes. So I would say, no, it doesn't have to be that way always.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a digital artist. That's just how I work. So doing a wrap worked well for me.
Makes sense. Okay.
But I have another one of my friends, Nori. He's done both those murals, and before that, the city of Tacoma had. It's an old town, so we have these. How would I describe them? Most people would put event posters on the sides of telephone poles, but in Tacoma, there was actually locations from the 1800s where people would put posters on. That's the whole function it was. It's just basically like a cement wall with rounded edges, and would have a little ledge going around it and a little roof to keep the artwork pretty. And so artists were constantly changing over and painting on those. And so he did a couple of those.
Yeah, I have my brother and sister-in-law live in Puyallup.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, and I have I have another brother up in Bellingham. So yeah, I'm familiar with the area. It's beautiful over there.
I should have worn my Puyallup Fair hat. Bill, what are you drawing today?
At the moment, I'm working on a postcard that I did the sketch for ages ago, and now I'm trying to properly ink it. Let me see if I can share it.
Well, let me make sure that I have sharing available. Yes, okay, it's turned on.
I'm not sure if this will work or not. And no, that's it looks like I'm going to have to look up the but can you see that okay?
I'll hold it closer to the screen, Bill. Oh, it looks like you're doing one of your gorilla drawings.
Yeah.
That looks really nice.
Wow.
Yeah. For context, the zoo is one of my favorite places to go draw because it's I like to do what I like to call actually talk about brain farts. I haven't extreme sketching, which frequently consists of going to public events like in Seattle, folk life, anime conventions, whatnot, and draw everybody on the street.
Fun.
And drawing at the zoo is one step up from that, because with drawing people on the street, the trick is to do the basic gesture and add the details as it goes along, and so you don't have to wait for them to worry about them holding still long enough or anything, unless they walk away, of course. But at the same time, while that is difficult, and that's the whole point, at the same time, it's not as difficult as you think it is, because us humans, being humans, know humans at an instinctive level, so you can fill in the gaps. Whereas drawing animals, it's kind of like doing a still life that'll move at any second, and that has improved my speed incredibly. and the gorillas at the Woodland Park Zoo are some of my favorite models.
Nice. I used to go to, there would always be music in the parks in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found the easiest thing to do would, if I sat in the crowd to listen to the music, I could draw the musicians or else the backs of people's heads.
Oh, definitely. That's exactly what I was doing at these events.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I haven't done that for a long time.
Let's
And
see.
very frequently, there was a lot of those pieces that I could recycle as some fairly nice pieces of clip art, finished clip art later on.
Mm.
So I used to go to the Bumbershoot, which is a music festival in Seattle. And one year I went as a cartoon reporter, and I did a cartoon of the day of all the bands I went to. And that got and then that got me in the habit of every time I go to a concert, I would just do a drawing of it during each performance.
Mm.
Nice. Maybe you could give me some tips, because what I'd like to do is go from portrait drawing of, you know, in this particular case, children's faces, to the comic drawing. And, you know, there's so many different ways to do eyes and mouths, and it seems to me like a comic artist develops their style of how they draw people. So what advice could you give for going from, you know, realistic portrait drawing to comic style portraits?
Think The Simpsons. The simpler, the better. I used to spend, even when I was drawing cartoons, I would spend a lot of times drawing the eyes and working on how the shape of the eyes were. And then one day I got called in to do a storyboarding gig with another illustrator. And we decided that we needed to make our styles match up. So we said, okay, we'll make sure that all of our figures have 5 fingers, because that's more professional looking than a figure with, you know, just 3 fingers. And I said, okay, rather than us, we both had very different ways of drawing eyes. And I said, let's both draw Homer Simpson eyes, where they're just round balls with little dots in it. And we'll try to give, you know, let's not put any expressions on them. Let them be as blank-faced as possible, and see how well that would work. I said, let's not put any details in the ear. Let's just do, you know, we just broke it down how we try to draw these pieces. And since that day, I haven't drawn eyes any differently. I completely changed. It freed me up. Suddenly I'm drawing so fast because I wasn't working about the eye. And then the simpler is better. Don't hesitate. Just put something there and let it go from there. Don't overthink it. If that woman's nose is too long, don't worry about it. Just move right on. If you drew, you know, her lips too small after you drew her nose too large, don't worry about it. Just move on. One of the things about, I'm trying to remember what the technical term this is, but Scott McCloud talks about it in his book, Understanding Comics. And it's the ability for the humans to make faces wherever they look.
Oh, right, pareidolia.
Pareidolia, okay, that's the term. And if you make a face blank, you tend to put in your own expressions, or people will read in themselves to that character. And that's why the blank expressions of the Simpsons, if you look at the very earliest cartoons, their expressions are very rapid. You know, Homer's much more angrier looking. But what they've done is over the years, they've made them look more and more blank so that we could put ourselves in their position.
Oh, interesting.
So by doing big eyes with kind of a blank stare and keeping the features fairly simple, people will really put themselves in. For a while there, I also was drawing a stickman strip for about 5 years, and it was nothing but stick figures, and people loved it. They said, "Oh wow, your stick figures, they're so expressive." And I really tried to do nothing than put in 2 dots and a little line.
Uh-huh.
And I tried to
Yeah.
make them look as blank as possible. So
Yeah.
that would be my tip is, you know, let yourself feel extremely comfortable with drawing as blank a figure as possible.
Okay.
And also good to take a look at a lot of cartoons and see what style you like. I mean, there's a lot of, one thing I'm very excited about the modern animation industry is there's a whole lot of cartoons where it's very much either a personal style or personal vision, or the corporation sees that there's value in faking one.
Now, another thing is manga.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, if you look at manga, the eyes are very large and very expressive. And so you can learn a lot just by practicing. Pick a type. There are lots of different styles of manga eyes that are large, like pupils within pupils, or irises within irises, or just how they draw the eyelids. The reason that came about is in Japan, unlike the US, all the expressions, when people are looking at each other, it's rude and impolite to stare directly at a person's face. Eye contact is not constant. And so to look at an eye will emote. They really know how to see expressions of feeling in each other's eyes as a result. They don't take anything for granted. And so when they started doing their animation, their eyes became larger so that they could put more expression into them. Whereas if you look at American cartoons, the expressions are all in the mouth. We're looking at here for the main visual key point. You won't see that in Japan.
Yeah, the mouths are small. The kids love manga and anime. They love it. I'm not, it's not one of my favorites, but they love it. So we do it.
Yeah, and because of that, it's good to have at least know the basic vocabulary of, and a lot of some of them are worth studying on their own right. I mean, for example, one that a lot of the kids will like, Oda's work. That's a One Piece. That guy's attention to that guy's drawing style is amazing. I don't know if it's whether how much he's improved over 10 years, or in 10 years he's put together the perfect team of assistants, or a little bit of both. But his style is like no one's else, and he can fill a two-page spread with just enormous amount of detail.
His last name is Oda?
Yes, but
Okay.
I'm sure you've heard kids mention One Piece before, so.
One Piece is a fairly popular animation. I am trying to find, there's this one animator who draws very much, or rather this illustrator or cartoonist I know, who draws in a anime or a manga style, and his expressions are just superb. Give me a moment.
Another good stuff to study cartoon-wise, I've been recently kind of rediscovering a lot of old 40s comics and cartoons. So amongst other ones, Will McManus, who's best known for one of the oldest comics out there, Bringing Up Father. His pen style is just amazing. And then as far as other comic artists, I've been recently rediscovering Jack Cole's work.
Okay.
Well, what did Jack Cole do?
He's best known a Plastic Man.
Ah,
Plastic Man. Okay.
And just the stuff the kind of rubber-faced people that he puts into his setting are just amazing.
I'm searching my Feedly for this one webcomic, but on Feedly, the moment you read something, it disappears for that day. I'm trying to find.
Oh.
Let's see where. And I'm not remembering the name of the strip because you know how you just take things for granted, so you tend not to remember them.
Yes. Like, oh, I'll remember that. And no.
Oh, there's another good one to study. Just a second. I need to remind myself of her name as well. Kate. Katie Cook. Currently, she does a lot of stuff for Disney, freelance. She does a lot of stuff for Star Wars and Disney, but currently she does a web comic on web cartoons, or was it web comics that webtoons called Nothing Special.
Okay.
And she has this absolutely adorable cartoon style.
Fun. All right.
Oh, I'm just not finding this person. If you send me an email later, I'll put my email in the chat. Or if you give me your email, I'll send you this.
Sure.
What is your email?
I'll put it in the chat box here.
Okay.
There we go.
That's my email. So since you got a school chat box, any type of link I send you should be, appropriate, children appropriate. Okay.
Yeah. And a warning, and based on that, a warning about Jack Cole. While he's best known for Plastic Man, his last about 10 years of his life, he did a lot of work doing pinups for Playboy. Perfectly tasteful, but heads up so that you don't
Don't Google him at school.
Yeah, don't Google at work. Yes.
I mean, if you Google Jack Cole Plastic Man, you should be fine. I'm just saying, heads up.
Okay, thank you. Good to know. Probably wouldn't come up at school, those pictures anyway, probably be filtered.
And if you've never checked it out, let's see, I'll pull the book off the shelf here. A comic book artist named Scott McCloud several years ago made this book called Understanding Comics. And he decided to do it in a comic format.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
And it really explains a lot of the science behind comics. Artists were really pleased because he revealed things that people were doing intuitively, but actually put labels on them, and it created a language and a structure for cartoonists to talk to each other.
Oh, okay.
So, it's a nice book. It's very beautiful, but mainly it's informative.
Okay. I will see if it's on Amazon.
It is, yes, it's on Amazon.
Yeah, he also has a number of other books, but this was his first, and many people think his best.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much.
The other two are essentially extensions. The second one is mostly the possibilities of comics outside of the traditional formats, talking about digital comics quite a bit. That one doesn't age quite as bit because some stuff, for example, his theories about micro payments haven't quite caught on quite as well as he thought they would.
Yeah, you're talking about reinventing comics. He also has another book out there called Making Comics.
Yeah, that's the third one.
Yeah, it's more nuts and bolts. And there's another cartoonist who did a great book on perspective for comics.
David Chelsea. Oh, that one's awesome too.
Yeah.
When is that one called?
David Chelsea, Perspective for Comics. Just a second.
You got it. I got it on my shelf too. We're just reaching over. But that deals solely with perspective, explaining what single point and 2 point and 3 point perspective is.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And lots of grids drawn. But he also, all these books are drawn in a cartoon fashion.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is the second book, but.
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
Let me get the first.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm reaching for. You got it?
Yes, I got it.
Oh yeah. Cool. Yes. Yeah. One thing also I'm noticing is like the light, the value.
Yeah.
In the face here, for example.
And I'll say for this one, not only is it good for comics, this is probably the best book on perspective I know. Most other books I have on perspective are so dry they border on being engineering texts. I mean, you're in education. I'm sure you've used those books as references. So
yeah, or background paper for paper mache projects.
Right. Oh yeah, but this is.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Katie, are you drawing a bull?
It's actually a wildebeest.
A wildebeest.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so my challenge this week was to draw a wildebeest and Ronnie James Dio in the same picture. So I don't know if you know who Dio is, but so that was the challenge this week, and I'm just kind of like using the markers like I would use my acrylic pens to see what happens. I got some new acrylic pens, or not acrylic pens, new alcohol markers, and I had read about everybody uses Copic's the standard, and I had actually watched this really cool YouTube video, and this guy Jazza, I'm sure you guys know Jazza because he's like, maybe you know him, but he has a huge YouTube channel, does a lot with cartooning and drawing, and he did an alcohol marker challenge, and these actually beat Copic for price, blending. So I got some for Christmas, and so I'm trying to use them, and they actually work pretty good. And I brought this today because I was like, because you see a lot of cartoonists that like Copic, but I actually did a comparison test on quality of coloring with them. So this is a Copic, a piece blended with Copic markers only. And they're all on the same type of paper, which is the kind that Copic actually recommends for their alcohol alcohol markers. And then these are the Ohuhu, which are the ones I got for Christmas. And then this is a $29.95 brand that is, you know, just some random who knows what. And actually, I really liked how seamless the Ohuhu were on the paper. But this is kind of got a, Mark, you might know what kind of paper this is. It actually has kind of like a slick feeling to it.
Right.
But then the alcohol markers absorb into it. They don't slide off. But I don't know what kind of paper this is. But the copy.
If you held it up to the light, do you see any type of a watermark, or is it too thick? It looks like it has a little bit of a card base to it.
It doesn't say. Now this Copic paper.
Well, what I mean is, if you look for a watermark by holding it up to the light, there might be a slight sheen or pattern when you look through the light.
No, there's not.
Okay. But
okay.
So the paper's probably too thick for it. But you say it definitely sounds like it's a hot press because it came off. It's nice and smooth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I did that this weekend instead of drawing. But so now I'm trying to blend like I would with my pens and my actual acrylic paint pens and see what I get. So
this is the marker that I use, but it's these are called Neulens.
Neulens, okay.
They're made in Germany, and they've got huge. These are for graphic facilitation when you're doing things on a wall, when it has to be like, 4 feet by 8 foot.
Oh, okay.
So this is the smallest tip they have. Most of these tips, let me see if I got some others in here. This is an average size tip. It's twice the size of a normal marker.
Oh yeah, that's big.
And you'll see that at the top, they've got these little holes. And you can buy bulbs of ink to refill these. And they are designed. Okay, so some of them, the black ones come in 2 types, and there's this type that have an orange casing, and if you use this black and then go over it with one of these color ones, the black won't smear. It's color fast. So if you're doing a big thing that has to be seen across the classroom, you want to get some Neulens, because you'll go through you'll dry them out really fast, but that's okay. You just refill them, and they're super easy to refill. And they come in dozens and dozens of colors. Neulen is, let's see, I'll type in how it's spelled.
Oh, okay.
And let me see if I have a catalog. They sell other things besides markers. But you can go to any art supply store and get a big roll of paper that's 4 feet and however many feet long, and just tear off sheets and put those on the wall. And these markers are designed for that.
Nice.
They also have other things at Neulens, like pastel colors that are done almost like a chalk, where you have like a sponge and you rub it like that, and you can do a big swipe, and you can cover a lot of color that way. And they also provide stickers that are like balloons, that are like 3M stickers that you can peel off and put up and move around. It's for people like myself who do a lot of interactive meetings with corporations.
Fun.
And they also sell things like display boards that you can actually fold up. If you were to go to any hotel in Europe and ask for like say a tripod to do like a flip chart presentation. Here in the US, you'll be lucky if they have anything. You'll probably have to run down to Home Depot and get something that's, you know, over in the corner. But Neuland is the supplier of all those in Europe, and everybody carries Neuland's tripods and presentation boards. And
Oh, fun.
I've
Yeah,
got
the PowerPoints the PowerPoints get pretty dry.
so I have dozens and dozens of Neuland markers because regular Sharpies just will not cut it.
They dry out so fast too.
Right, and so I'm wondering if I have. I'll show you what the refiller looks like. Look at my bag here. A whole bag full of them. Let's see. And some of the markers are this wide. They're just huge.
Fun.
Okay. Not that bag. Well, that raises a whole question for me. Where's my refillers? Because I use black a lot, and that's the stuff that I have the refillers for. And since it costs like $12 for them to ship you something, you want, because you know they're in another country, they just use a standard box rate for shipping. You just want to fill that box up with a bunch of markers. I'll blow like $100, no problem. But I'm also a member of a group called the International Forum of Visual Practitioners, and they sometimes give us discounts at their at our conventions, where we get like about 25% off. So we tend to save up, and they'll bring in like suitcases filled with markers, and we'll just buy them all, you know. And,
yeah, load up.
So I haven't been working on my project at all. I'm trying to. I'm working on a day calendar of things, and here are like this is.
Oh, the eagle. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me. So that's Save the Eagles Day. Yeah. Let's see. I'll go to my gallery. That's National Bobblehead Day.
Who knew? That's coming up.
Let's see. What are some of these others? Let's see. We've got Bubble Bath, Bird Day, Cuddle Up Day. Got a little dog and cat. A Static Electricity Day. Oh, here's one I did.
Oh, that would be such a fun art project for like fifth graders.
So this is National Milk Day. So today is Rubber Ducky Day.
Oh.
So I need to draw a rubber ducky. Yesterday was Hot Tea Day.
And so where are you making this up, or are you
No,
finding
but these are real. I dabbled with it last year. It's there. You can sometimes I don't know if they're official or not, but
There's
if you look
there's
them
a
up, yeah.
yeah. If you go to day of calendar or say national day of, or there's international days and there's national days, and some of them are let's see, some of them are very sad, like what was it, International White Slavery Awareness Day. So it wasn't white slavery, they were calling it something more current than that, but it's the same day as National Milk Day. I decided to go with milk because that's and let's see, so today's Rubber Ducky Day. In the not so distant future, it's going to be National Dress Up Your Pet Day. Bill did a drawing for that last year.
Oh yeah,
Where's your drawing?
And then, are you publishing it somewhere, or you just
well,
for
some
fun?
of the good ones make for good swag when I'm working on my convention stock.
Oh, okay, cute.
But I'm putting this calendar together so that I can send it off to a so I can send it off to a calendar company and possibly get it licensed. It's something I'm doing on spec, but I figured if I do one a day, at least I'll have this in the can, so that if they say, well, what else you got?
Yeah.
I can say, well, how about this?
I didn't do as many as Mark did, but here's my favorite from that last year: Appreciate Dragon's Day.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's cute with the little vernacular.
I bet you did them all in a square format, Bill, and did one for every day of the week. You might get a taker. You only did it when you felt like it, didn't you?
It was more of a case of I was trying to come up with stuff for Instagram, so I was cranking them out quickly, and so a lot of them were pretty trashy.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm sort of thinking about doing my next project, because at the moment I'm in the middle of a Clash of Kings project.
Clash of Kings.
That's the second.
It's what the Games of Thrones is based on.
It's the second book of A Song of Ice and Fire, and so I'm halfway through it. If I keep my pace up, I should get it done sometime this summer. But I've been thinking of my next. Considering I'm kind of burnt out on that, I do not think I will be doing the next book, at least for a while. So I've sort of been thinking about projects that are not essentially fan art. So I was sort of playing around with the idea of Beatles lyrics.
Ooh.
This is the one for Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, I bet that would be a hit. Yeah.
But where's the Yellow Submarine, Bill?
Well, if you actually read the lyrics, it doesn't say anything about the Yellow Submarine being there at the time. It's the old man who tells him about his life of having been in the Yellow Submarine.
Oh, okay. You're being very literal about this.
Damn straight.
Yeah, anybody who knows their Beatles lyrics then would definitely relate to that.
Though in hindsight, I might put it in the background.
At least a periscope, Bill.
Yeah. Oh, cute.
Have him looking at the sea captain and the kids. I think that would be a cute touch. I'm looking online for a reference for a rubber ducky. And we went quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
Oh, another fun thing with speaking of anime, backing down to the anime, I was starting to rewatch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood yesterday.
My wife and I have been watching, we subscribe to Crunchyroll and also Hulu and Netflix and what else? We just picked up HBO Max, and some of these services will keep track of what anime you're watching. Like Crunchyroll will let you know what your shows are, but other stations like HBO Max, if you've watched an episode, it doesn't keep track of what episodes you've watched. So you have to keep track of that. And so I started putting together a list of all the anime that we're currently watching, just so that we could remember which service it's currently appearing on. I think the only service I'm not using, or I'm not on Disney Plus.
No, considering there's a handful of Marvel shows coming out very soon, I'm very mildly tempted.
Yes, I'm very curious about WandaVision. So, Anne, that's what you get when you get here. We talk about the correct way to pronounce Thanos, and on that day we had two camps. We had the East Coast camp and the West Coast camp, and we were both had. And then we thought that the gal who was from South Korea could be the tiebreaker, but she started laughing because she thought it was pronounced a totally different way.
I have nothing to give you on that.
So I drew a little quick outline of what I think my rubber duck should look like.
Cool.
So Anne, you said you're going back into the classroom next week?
Yes. Yep. They're starting with bringing kindergarten through second grade back full time Monday through Friday. And then February 1st, third through fifth grade comes back full time. And now they're thinking we don't have to worry so much about the kids being socially distanced. We need to keep the teachers distance from the students.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is better because I had to teach on a cart all last fall, and it was really hard, and the teachers hated it because it took away their personal classroom space during their prep time. And
I'm sure I'm misunderstanding what you just said entirely, but I'm assuming you just said having all of your art supplies on a cart and going into the classroom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It was tough. Yeah.
I can imagine.
So, but now I'm back into the kids will be coming to me instead. At first they were worried about the kids, infecting each other, but found out that wasn't the case. It was more the adults that weren't safe. So somehow I made it without getting COVID, even though I went to every single classroom in our school. And, but yeah, so what they have to do is make sure that the teachers are separated and not congregating. But they found mostly the teachers that did get COVID got it from their family members, and most of all. So it wasn't really the kids. So we'll see what happens next. Things are still pretty shut down here, as they are in a lot of places. So, guys, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, it's time to end, isn't it?
Yeah, I
have
a Zoom meeting with my daughter, so I'm looking forward to that. So, Katie, fun to watch your drawings.
I'd like to do a screen grab if that's okay with everybody. Everyone hold up and hold still your hand. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
I'll see you next week for yet another episode of Epic Sketch Time, except for you, Anne, because it sounds like you're going to be in a classroom.
Yeah, who knows what next week will bring. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Best of luck. Nice seeing you.
Thank you for all the tips. I appreciate it so much.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye-bye.